I'm doing a battery replacement on this CyberPower CST1300AL. It's an uninterruptible power supply, also known as a UPS, and is battery backup powered by two 12-volt internal batteries. Doing a battery replacement on this UPS is similar to most others, and you can save a lot of money by replacing the batteries instead of purchasing a new UPS. This unit was purchased at Costco a couple of years ago, and the batteries are now dead. So the first thing we're going to do is perform a system check. As we go through the various display items on the menu, we're going to eventually get to the battery capacity, and you'll see that the battery capacity is 0. Batteries are completely dead. No runtime. So the first thing we're going to do is unplug it from the wall and open up the unit. Tipping the unit on its side, you can get access to the single Phillips head screw at the bottom of the front faceplate. We undo the screw, remove it, and then slide the faceplate in a downward direction and outward. We now have access to the battery compartment, and you can see the wires coming out of the batteries leading into the UPS unit. Make a mental note of how the wires are laying, so when you reassemble the unit it'll be a little easier for you. I like to take photos as I go. Next, we disconnect the batteries from the UPS unit at the connectors, and we pull the batteries out by grabbing the plastic sleeving around the batteries and pull it straight out. Batteries are now free and clear. We then unwrap the wrapping from around the batteries. Once you remove the plastic wrapper, the batteries will easily come apart. Notice the plastic spacer that separates the two batteries. The wiring runs through that spacer. So if you make a mental note of it and take some photos, it'll help again with the assembly when you put it back together. Now we want to make sure that you recognize that the batteries are wired in series, so the total output voltage will be 24 volts. 12 volts wired in series, 24 volts output. Notice battery number 1 on the left. The black terminal runs down to the red terminal on battery number 2. Just a reminder again to take a photo when you take it apart so that you can see how the wiring goes. And then when you put it back together, you'll have that as a reference. And remember that it goes in series. Next, we're going to remove the wires from the battery terminals by just giving a pull. It takes a little effort, maybe wiggling them a little bit. Now I'm going to lay this out here so you can have a good idea of how the wiring looks. This is important, so you want to make a note of it. You have the negative terminal on the battery on the left in the upper left hand corner. That has that jumper wire that goes down to the positive terminal, the red terminal of battery number 2. That's the dotted line, that's the jumper cable. And then you have the positive coming off of the first battery on the left, and then you have the negative coming off the bottom right corner battery on the right. This will give you a combined voltage of 24 volts DC. And here's how the final wiring will look. For the replacement batteries, I chose the Mighty Max ML9-12. It's a 9 amp hour, 12 volt sealed lead acid battery. After removing the plastic caps from the battery terminals, run the wires like we showed earlier. You may have to work with the wires a little bit, but eventually they'll fit. Once all the pieces line up properly, rewrap the batteries with the plastic and then reinsert it back into the UPS. Before sealing up the unit, I wanted to make sure that I had at least 24 volts. In this case I had 25, so I'm in good shape. I took the old batteries by comparison, measured 8 volts on the one and 4 volts on the other, so they were definitely bad. The last step was to reconnect the wiring connectors and then reinstall the front cover of the unit. After we assembled the unit, we powered it on. You can see that we have 120 volts going in. You can see the battery capacity starting to climb. Batteries are going to need a little time to top off. 60 Hertz going in, no load on it. And of course, the most important, the battery capacity. We're at 95% battery capacity, and the estimated runtime even so is at 87 minutes as compared to the old batteries, which were dead at 0 minutes. So a substantial improvement. They're working again. Well, I hope that was informative. Please like, share, and subscribe if you thought so, and leave your comments down below. Catch you next time.